house guests, welcome to today's bbcan 9 updates and spoilers. Happy Mother Effing Sunday. Our house guests of the day are Dominic Capello and Kenny D. Thank you both so much for the support. You guys have been around for so long and we appreciate it so much. We could not do this without you, so thank you again. And if you guys want to be house guests of the day like these rock stars, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. Woo! Alright, so we actually have some interesting things to talk about here. I was a little bit, I'm not gonna lie, I spent a lot of the day just being like, what the hell am I gonna talk about today? But then things started to really pop off quite a bit throughout the day, so we'll get there. But anyway, when we left off yesterday, the POV competition was in progress. Just to remind you, the players were Josh and Kiefer, the two nominees, Tina, Tara, and Victoria. The HOH does not get to play. That is such a bummer. I just feel like the HOH should be able to try and, protect their nominations. But, nah, bbcan doesn't see it that way. So, just the vibe going into this POV competition, much of the house wants Josh to go. But Austin has expressed that she's leaning more towards Kiefer going because she's worried that Kiefer would target her if he wins HOH. And yes, I believe that is true. I've heard him say that. But this information is starting to get out. It's starting to spread now. And the reason for that is Victoria. Victoria told Josh about it. Victoria even told Kiefer about it, which I was really surprised at. I'm not sure why she's leaking this info to the two nominees, but I love Victoria. She's so much fun to watch. But girl, what are you doing? So it was starting to spread some paranoia throughout the house. So before the feeds went down for the POV, Rohan was trying to make some moves. Everybody, Rohan included, knows that he's probably going to be the replacement nominee if the power veto is used this week, because Austin doesn't have very many options here for a replacement nominee. She's not going to put up Brayden because she's super tight with him. She's not going to put up Latoya because she made a deal with her during the HOH competition. And she's not going to put up Jed because she's working with him. So Rohan is the only option left on Team Defender. So Rohan is trying to make sure that he would have the votes to stay if one of the nominees comes down. So he and Kyle have been trying to set up some alliances, trying to get some numbers behind them. So they're trying to get something going with Tara, Latoya, and Tina. And as this group was talking, they were all like, I don't think we should set up anything official until after the teams are all done. They're all saying it's too early for alliances. Helen! Helen! Oh my god. Whenever I hear too early, I always think of Helen, even when it's not BB related. But anyway, they do agree that they would like to vote together this week, specifically, voting out Josh. Boo! I feel like Josh is so misunderstood in this house, and it's messed up. But, another thing that happened before the feeds went down that I didn't mention yesterday because I didn't see it until today. Latoya was talking to Jed in the Defender bedroom, and she was spilling all about Rohan and Kyle's alliance proposal. And she warns Jed, be careful of what you say in front of Kyle, because Kyle is watching and listening to everything, okay? He is very observant, and we don't need him picking up on our group of 6 working together, the Sunsetters. So she lets Jed know, you're not on Kyle's radar as a target, but he just doesn't know where you stand. And I feel like this is a lie because I keep seeing people saying over and over. Now, okay, I didn't see this or hear this with my own eyes or ears, but people keep saying that Kyle went to Latoya and was saying that, maybe I should, if I win HOH, I should go after Ty or Jed, the two guys, the two big guys. But why would you say that to Latoya? Because Kyle is definitely suspecting that the 3 of them are working together, so why would you say that to her? So again, I did not see that or hear that myself, but I keep seeing people bringing it up. It's really hard to go back on the feeds this year, to flash back, because you can only flash back so many hours. So for like flashbacks that are further back than that, I'm trying to use like YouTube videos and stuff, but like it can be rough out there sometimes. So anyway, Jed shares that he talked to Kyle and they agreed that the alpha males should not go after each other this season. I'm like, if this turns into Pretty Boys 2.0, like, I can't do it. But anyway, Latoya says she's being really careful about what she says to people when they approach her about, you know, forming an alliance with her, because a lot of people have been going to Latoya and spilling their guts and saying that they want to start an alliance with her. So she wants all the benefits of that without having to commit and get herself all twisted up in all these different alliances. You know, she doesn't want to end up in a situation where she's gonna, like, maybe she wins HOH and she's got nobody in the house that she's not aligned with. You know, who would she put up in that situation? So she doesn't want to end up like that. But then they were talking about their Sunsetters alliance. We've seen that Latoya is very skeptical about Beth, and Beth is also skeptical about Latoya. But Jed says that Beth is solid. Keep in mind as well that Jed is in another alliance with Beth along with Ty and Austin. So they're kind of double dipping there. So of course he's like, yeah, Beth is solid. So then Victoria comes in to the room while they're talking. And she's like, I know you guys are talking right now, but I just wanted to come in here and say, I really want to work with you both. And she says she wants to create a Final Four alliance with the three of them and Ty. She says, like, this is my dream. And she's like, I don't know what you guys already have going on, but that's what I want. So, you know, we can talk about that more. Victoria is amazing. She's just so funny, and her, like, smile and laughter is just so infectious on the feeds. But they all agree, yeah, we'll talk about it another time. A little busy right now, you know? We don't need to figure it out right this second. So, yeah, again, everyone wants to work with Jed, Ty, and Latoya. So Victoria leaves the room. She ends up going and talking to Ty about it, and he's like, yeah, that sounds awesome. Okay, so then Latoya and Jed continue to chat. They're just worried at this point about, like, talking too much game with too many people. So they're really trying to be careful about it. Alright, so then the feeds went down several hours for the POV competition, and when they come back, we find out that Kiefer won the power veto. I just really wanted Josh to win because everybody's been talking so much crap about him and treating him like an outcast, so I really wanted him to be able to win safety for himself, but yeah. Kiefer won POV, and they're all telling him, oh, you would have been fine without it anyway, but congrats. So, yeah, this competition had something to do with transferring apples in a wheelbarrow. And, they had to stack up the apples. So I guess it was that classic, like, stacking challenge. But it was so sad because Josh said that it felt like people were cheering for literally everyone else in the competition except for him. That is so sad, and I feel so bad that he has to go through that crap. But this situation of Kiefer winning the power veto, at first glance, this is terrible for Josh because Rohan will likely be the replacement nominee, and people want to keep Rohan around. But, you know, you never know what could happen. You never know what could happen. So, yeah. I don't know. It would be a very tough vote to flip, though. And this is such early days. You know, it's only Sunday at this point, so anything could happen. They didn't even have the power veto ceremony yet. So, we'll see. But in that moment, not looking great for Josh. Okay. So then, the rest of the night was pretty uneventful game-wise. Not a lot of game talk. Lots of crap talk about Josh, lots of chit-chat. No one's really making any huge waves at that point because it looks like things are set. You know, Rohan is supposed to be the replacement nominee, and Josh is supposed to be the one going this week. So why is anybody going to, like, step out of line and mess things up, right? Okay, so then today, Beth and Ty were having a game convo out by the hot tub, and they feel like again, things are pretty much set, and Josh will be the one leaving this week. So that means that next week, the lines are really going to be drawn, because once Josh is out of here, it's not going to be all kumbaya. Like, everybody else is going to have to start going after each other. So Beth says, I was talking to Victoria earlier, and she dropped some names to me. She told me who she would put up if she won HOH next week, and she said it would be Tara and Tina. And I don't know that this is true. Maybe Victoria was not being completely honest with Beth. I don't know, because I've also heard Victoria say that she would put up Latoya because she feels like Latoya doesn't like her. That is kind of confirmed. So Beth says, it wouldn't be the worst thing if Tara and Tina were up on the block, because we could easily sway it so that Tina will stay, because Tina is in their Sunsetters Alliance. So they agree. The two of them, Beth and Ty, they have no idea who either of them would put up if one of them were to win HOH. But they also agree our alliance is the strongest thing going in this house right now. I just don't like the Sunsetters at this point, because they are really strong and they're running things, and I'm just getting horrible, horrible flashbacks to BB22. I'm like scarred from it now, that it's just going to be a totally one-sided game and they're going to run the whole thing, and I don't want that. And I don't think that that's necessarily going to happen, but just getting like glimpses of the possibility of it, I'm like... So, yeah, we'll see what happens. It's the second week of the game. So, Beth says it's guaranteed that Josh is going this week. And then she calls him a tryhard. Really, Beth? Really? So, then they were talking about how they want to kind of navigate moving forward with the different alliances that they're involved in. Of course, they're in the Sunsetters, but they also have that 4-person alliance with Austin and Jed. So they want to keep Austin around for now. They feel like she can be really useful to them. She can give them information. But she's not in that 6-person Sunsetters alliance, so she's going to have to go at some point. That alliance is number 1 to them. So Beth is also saying we got to be careful with what we tell Austin, because she's basically a duo with Brayden. So we can't be giving out too much info to her. But we should keep the two of them close, because they're both doing really well in the competition so far. So they agree to have each other's backs. Ty was joking about how they're a showmance. Oh, no. They are very flirty and, like, cuddly, too. I'm pretty sure they share a bed, don't they? I'm pretty sure they share a bed. So, yeah. Not that that's the end of the world, but they are cuddly, so... Alright, a little later, wait, do they share a bed? Yeah, I think so. I can't even remember now, I don't know. But a little later, this is where it gets interesting. Ty, Latoya, and Kiefer were chatting outside, also, out by the hot tub area, and they're comparing notes on who's been approaching them about working together. And I gotta say, this Sunsetters Alliance is very strong, because they are very open with each other with information about who is coming and talking to them. They're not really hiding too much for themselves so far. So they talk about how Kyle and Rohan have been making the rounds. Victoria's been making the rounds. And there's been a lot of talk that Toya, Jed, and Ty are working together, which is true. They are working together. But they feel like, why are people assuming that we're working together? We're not together all the time. Like, what's going on here? They feel like people are making assumptions based on race. But I feel like they have been spotted together talking, and possibly even, like, asked people to leave the room when they're all talking. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's evidence there. It's not just a race thing. But anyway, Kiefer says that, with people assuming that the 3 of them are working together, the rest of the Sunsetters, Kiefer, Beth, and Tina, are all going to try and deflect for them so it doesn't look like they're working together. So then Jed and Beth join the group. So now we've got 5 out of 6 Sunsetters. It's basically an alliance meeting. So Latoya says, again, we really need to be careful around Kyle. He is watching everything. And they're not really sure what Kyle or Rohan would do if they were to win HOH next week. You know, those two are super tight, but they don't seem to have anything solid with anybody else. They've been approaching a lot of people about working together, but they don't see them being aligned with anyone else yet. So Ty then is asking, like, what about, like, are there any scenarios where Josh stays this week? Meaning, like, Rohan would go home. And Toya shoots it down immediately. She's like, no way. But then they start discussing potentially getting rid of Rohan this week to weaken Kyle. They're getting nervous about Kyle. But Toya's opposed to this. She says, I already gave Ro my word that I would vote for him to stay if he goes up on the block this week. And she did tell him that. That sounds like a personal problem, though. Like, you should not tell people that early that you're definitely voting to keep them. But they wonder if they can still flip some other people to vote out Ro so that Toya could still keep her word and vote to keep him, and they would still get rid of him, you know, and if they're pulling in other people, they won't be exposing the alliance because it's not going to look like they all voted together. So keep in mind, too, it's 5 to tie this week and 6 to evict. So, yeah. But anyway, Kiefer's being a lot lately, you guys. Kiefer was, like, freaking out and spiraling the other day when he was going to be going up on the block, and now that he has the POV, he's already mapping out the rest of the game. He feels like the six can control every single vote this season. Please no. And he really messed up this morning because he and Josh were talking about the possibility of somebody coming back into the game who's already been evicted, and Kiefer's like, oh yeah, maybe like Julie and Josh will come back as the new team captains. And Josh is like, I'm still here. Like, why would you say that? That's so messed up. He's just, like, already assuming that Josh is going to his face. Wild. But anyway, Kiefer's actually one of the ones now trying to convince people that Ro should be going and not Josh. But Ty says, like, let somebody else deal with Josh. Why are we taking him out? You know, we can't be just, like, taking out all these unconnected players. Like, why not, like, make some bigger moves here? Josh can shield us for a while because he's going to be a huge target in front of us. And Toya admits, you know what, it is a good move, but personally, she does not want to vote to evict Rohan because of the deal that she made with him. So they want to see what Tina thinks about all this, because Tina was not there for this meeting. So Latoya talks to Tina a little while later about possibly getting rid of Rohan. She says there might be a flip. And Tina's like, what? So Tina says, to make a long story short, she does not feel comfortable voting against Rohan. She also already told him that she would vote to keep him if he goes up on the block against Josh this week. So she does not want to go back on her word like that. They're also worried that this flip would potentially expose the 6. They don't want to do that so early on. Plus, Josh is a wild card. You know, who would he target if he wins HOH? They don't know. I mean, you don't really know who Ro is going to target either, right? So, yeah. But anyway, those two are not for this. So then Beth was talking to the cameras on her own, and she's like, Rohan really doesn't talk any game with me. There's no benefit for me for him to stay. It's just, like, who cares for her? So then she was talking about her position within the Sunsetters Alliance, that alliance of 6. She hopes that Tina is her girl and would pick her over anyone else. I don't think so. Tina is very close to Latoya. She knows that Jed and Ty will pick each other over her. But she's trying to keep Ty close by cuddling with him at night. And then she says she's going to flirt with Jed during the day. Okay. She says that she likes Latoya. Could have fooled me. But she doesn't like that Latoya thinks she's the shit in this game and that she's the one calling all the shots. Sounds like she's a little jealous. And she really hopes that Tina doesn't have a final 2 with Latoya. I don't know if they have an official final 2 or not, but they are very, very tight. So Beth also lets us know that Kyle is sketchy AF and he's got to go soon. And she's also worried about lying to Austin potentially this week with her vote, about her vote, because she has a final 2 with Austin. I don't know that Austin would be totally opposed to getting rid of Rohan. Nobody's really talked about that with her yet, I feel like, so maybe she'd be cool with it. I don't know. But later on, we've got Kiefer. He is trying to convince Toya and Tina that it would be a better move this week to take out Rohan. They're not into it. They are not feeling it. They're not saying 100% no, it shouldn't happen, but they are not for it. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. I'm wondering, will the house guests finally get the have-not room today? They've pretty much already figured out what it's going to be because Big Brother's been leaving clues around the house. Today, there were a bunch of those plastic balls in the hot tub, and Big Brother, told, I think it was Jed, to go, look at it, and he found them. And then I think, they were also saying on, day 2 or something, Kiefer found some of those balls outside the have-not room door. Why couldn't it just be a surprise? But the feeds are down right now, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they were doing, if they were opening up the have-not room. But the power veto ceremony should be tomorrow. Kiefer will be using it on himself. There was a little bit of an uncertainty about that at first, because Kiefer was telling people before, oh, if you win the veto, don't use it on me because I don't want us to expose the alliance. But I'm pretty sure he was always planning on using it on himself. I don't know. Maybe I missed something. But yeah, he's going to use it on himself. And it seems like Austin will be putting up Rohan as a replacement nominee. But I don't think they've talked since the POV comp. So we'll see if anything changes with that. But let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments. And until next time, much love.